Twitch for this evening. Again, apologies for the minor delays here, trying to keep things working as best we can, but unfortunately, for some odd reason, we just still have a problem with getting on the net with Facebook, and that's causing some sort of backup situation here. So we're doing our best with what we've got, but there is going to be possibly some delays and probably some maybe some dropouts from time to time. We're trying to get that routed down and take a look and see what the situation is. Weather-wise, not that much going on. We do have, again, some clouds across the area. It's a little bit on the hazy side. There were a couple of minor wildfires reported earlier on in the last about 5 to 6 hours, mainly down into northwest Georgia. But beyond that, we do not have anything across the WDEF News 12 viewing area for this evening when it comes to Maine wildfire danger. So that, again, is very good news. We do see the potential of some more areas of showers and thunderstorms Thursday. Bit of a breezy situation setting up as we go into around next week. Apologies for the camera settings as well. Let me get that taken care of there real quick. And that should do pretty good, I think, for right now. Having to run everything myself here, executive producer, cameraman, audio, and of course host and guest. So this is pretty much what we do on a nightly basis here. If you're just joining us, again, welcome to News 12's video weather blog, Weather Overtime. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick for Wednesday night. Half the week down, half to go, and dry for now, but that will be changing as we get into the rest of the forecast. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit with our chance of some rainfall coming on through. Want to check real quick and see what's going on. It looks like most of the situation has abated as from what we saw earlier tonight. You're looking at I-24 at the Rossville Road, Highway 27 exit, that area, to where we had a problem. This is facing over toward, I believe, the Ridge Cut area, so just beyond where this camera was. It's been turned around to look east, but back to the west of this, there was an accident with two semi-trailers at least, one on this side of the exit, one on the other side of the exit. I don't know why the entire intersection wasn't closed down, but people were skirting between that area, and that was causing a very decent backup, which stretched all the way around the corner from Moccasin Bend, which, again, for right now, the good news is that scrum has cleared out, but that was a decent amount of cars out there causing some issues. Now, for right now, looking at the area of where 24 comes in, meets 27 coming down from the north and going through downtown, Finley Stadium in the dark right there, but again, everything is moving along. Heavy traffic as per usual with this interstate area, but the interstate was backed up all the way to the 2459 junction in parts of northwest Georgia, miles down road. So a lot of some persnickety traveling going on here. Add to that from earlier on, you can see Highway 41 going around the north flank of Lookout Mountain on that kind of scenic drive up here. Everybody who hopped off the interstate around Lookout Valley on that side of Lookout Mountain was coming down and around that area and getting out, going toward Broad Street right past the News 12 studios. Well, that was, again, some pretty intense travel conditions for tonight. It looks like everything is working out well for now. As the scrum and the accident is cleared. Hope everybody was okay, because that looked like a rotten royal mess from earlier tonight. Plainview Outdoor Advertising Camera from 153 and 64 overpass. That also, again, moving along fairly well at this time. Back to downtown, the News 12 studio camera, the Patriot Concrete camera also showing traffic on I-24 moving along quite nicely. Going a little further back toward the east past the Ridge Cut and showing construction traffic a bit on the problem side. Let me just double check, because that seems to be something going on for right now. What you're looking at is where 24 comes in from the west over here, and then 75 comes up from the south. You can either go to 75 north or you can go to 24 west. The traffic over here going this direction, that's 24 eastbound to 75 north, going up to Knoxville, Oak Ridge, in that area. And for right now, the traffic going from 75 north under the 24 west overpass and going to merge up here with 75 north traffic appears to be on the slow side. TDOT does not have an accident marker at this time, so we assume that this is just heavy traffic. Let me just do the temperature real quick so we can see what's going on. Lower 50s, very close to our normal high temperature for this time of the year, and continued very dry conditions, and possibility of seeing some more wildfire danger coming up as we go into the next couple of weeks if we don't get a decent amount of rainfall coming up anytime soon. Let me get back to the TDOT cameras where we see just to the east of that intersection, that scrum of traffic, that's eastbound heading up north I-75, and that's right before you hit the Brainerd Road area. So for right now, it looks like things are not doing all that well, and that's the last camera that I have lined up there. So heading up toward Ottawa, in and around the Shallowford Road area, you could be getting into some slow conditions, and right around the area of Hamilton Place. This is a little bit further back, 24 heading toward the 2475 junction. Heavier traffic on the slowdown here, so that is where we're getting, again, some bit of a problem in and around Chattanooga for travel tonight. The rest of the area not seeing that much of a problem, but maybe an alternate route if you're planning on traveling 2475 anytime before about midnight. The way this is stacking up for right now, that could be just a bit of a problem. Heading to about 10 o'clock, temperatures right before the top of the hour. Not doing totally terrible. We've got some numbers back into the 40s and 30s around western North Carolina, 50s and 60s elsewhere for the most part, so it's decently pleasant. These temperatures are still very much above normal for this time of the evening and this area of the country. We should technically be a lot colder than this, but the southerly winds have been keeping the temperatures up. Now, what we're expecting for tonight, high pressure cutting the moisture off from the Gulf of Mexico. The clouds that we picked up, the gray colors that you see here, this is a kind of an interesting little scenario taking place, because what we're looking at is not coming up really from off the Gulf. Trace these backwards and you go all the way back to the Pacific Ocean. So this is part of that leftover atmospheric river from a couple of days ago, bringing some moisture in, but nothing that's causing anything in the way of concerns for rain, snow, anything like that. But our next system is heading in here. That is going to be dropping on through as we go into Thursday and early Friday. That is where we may see that potential of scattered showers and maybe a rumble of thunder. We'll time that out in just a little bit. Want to go a little farther on this display, a little bit farther back to the north, because we have another storm system already ready to go across central Canada. This will be reaching us as we get into Saturday, and this will bring us a drop in temperatures. I don't see anything huge. It will be cooler, no question about that, but it won't be Arctic blast territory, so I think we're good again for right now. So definitely some good news there, but expecting some cooler temperatures into the weekend. Now, it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to take this and kind of rotate our planet back around all the way back to as far as this will go, because we're seeing right now some interesting changes taking place, because this will be coming back in from the west coast over the next few days. Northeast Russia, north of the Sakhalin Peninsula, and right back out across the Bering Sea. We're watching a slow-moving system here. This, if everything works, will be heading our direction and may arrive by about this time next week. If that happens and if that pans out, we could be seeing some interesting effects coming up out of this. First of which could be very warm temperatures. Second of which could be the possibility of maybe some heavier weather. It's a little iffy right now, but there are starting to show the signs of maybe the possibility of some stronger weather heading on through. So half a world away, we could be looking at the potential of more problems for us in about a week's time. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Again, 300 hours out, that's wish casting, but the signs are starting to kind of come together. So what are we looking at for tonight? Technically, not much, because that system will still be west of us by tomorrow morning, so chilly in the morning, but not exactly frosty. Showers might make their way in by early Thursday afternoon back to our north around Middle Tennessee and the Plateau. Then we get into News 12 at 11 tomorrow night. More chances of showers. I would not be surprised to see a rumble of thunder along this front as it makes its way on through. That is going to be the more unique situation. For rain will be the rule, thunder will be the exception. So I do not see anything in the way of severe weather. There is no indication from the Storm Prediction Center that we're looking at anything outside of some thunderstorms, at least for right now. Let me double check that to make certain I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth. And as of right now, yes, there's nothing coming in from the National Storm Prediction Center. So good news again on that. If you're just tuning in on Facebook and Twitch, welcome to the show. This is Weather Overtime, where we take a look at weather in and around the southeastern parts of Tennessee, northeastern parts of Alabama, northwest Georgia, and extreme western North Carolina. We are in downtown Chattanooga here at the News 12 studios on Broad Street. So going forward from here, again from Thursday evening, we start to see a bit of a chance of showers for Friday morning, lingering across the area. Doesn't look like much, but it is possible. Dry air sweeps in, and we should see temperatures back in the lower 60s. Breezy, that could be a problem there. Our next front, this one again coming down from the north, but watch what happens as we go into the future. This front turns into a stretched out area of low pressure, or what's called a trough, and that'll be wandering through. North of us, we could see a raindrop or a snowflake mixed in. Knoxville, Louisville, Bowling Green, back towards south around Cincinnati. That could be a bit of an issue there, but I think that's going to stay well north of us for right now. Could be a passing raindrop in the higher elevations east of us, but again, that should not be a problem for us coming on through. That will be replaced by high pressure, chilly. Let me get back to that real quick. Again, high temperatures on Saturday will make the lower 50s, and that should just about do it. That's just below normal for this time of the year. So yes, that front will make things cooler, but not by much. And then Sunday, as we get into Sunday afternoon or so, pleasant, warmer temperatures should be back in the lower 60s. And then high pressure gives us a sunny latter half of the weekend. So that part of it is looking good. Let's go ahead and get into the 7-day forecast and give you an idea as to what's going on. Island Cove Marina and Resort looking off toward the area about Lake Chickamauga off to the west. Temperatures again dip into the lower 50s as we go towards Saturday. Breezy, I'll talk about that in just a little while. Rain and maybe a thunderstorm Thursday night into Friday, clearing out into the weekend. And while it may be a little chilly, we should rebound on the temperatures for Sunday. And then next week, lower to mid 70s. That's going to be about 15 to nearly 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. That also ushers in the next chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms taking place mixed in. I think we'll have a better possibility of thunderstorms next week, and I'll show you why coming up here in just a little bit. Let's, pardon me for that screen freeze there. Let's take a look at the windy conditions first as we get into the next day or two, because as we go, what did I do with it? No, it was here a minute ago. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. These graphics get a little bit misplaced from time to time. Okay, so coming up tomorrow, especially in the afternoon, we could be seeing some wind gust. It looks like more toward the plateau, maybe around 40 miles per hour. Now, when you get up to about 40 miles per hour, that's when the National Weather Service will issue a wind advisory. High wind warnings will be about 55 miles per hour plus. We're borderline on issuing a wind advisory. National Weather Service says stand by. They'll talk about that coming up in later forecast discussions. But for right now, 36 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon doesn't quite cut it for a wind advisory. probably a special weather statement if this holds, but this could be some mountain wave activity coming through as we go into around maybe about Friday. Again, could be some breezy winds about 30 miles per hour into Saturday, and then we kind of calm down a little bit into the weekend. The winds really don't offer much of a problem. Then we go toward Monday. That next system way back on up toward parts of Russia, Japan, and the northern Pacific start raising the wind gust levels to about the mid 30s or mid 30, upper 30 mile per hour range. And that's where we could see around Tuesday, maybe pushing a wind advisory more into the river valley there than anything else. Going forward toward Wednesday and Thursday, that is where we could come close to another wind advisory, but it doesn't look like too much for now. So again, 40 miles per hour for a wind advisory, and we're going to be just below that. Either way, even if a wind advisory is not issued, be prepared for some chop on the roadway. So if the winds are coming in from the south, anybody driving east-west is going to have that wind pushing against your vehicle. So we could see some choppy conditions out there into the next few days. Now let me bring in my browser to show you a little bit more on this. Again, this is from the website WX Charts. If I can get this to load over here. Okay, here we go. This is what we're looking at for now. This is the European Center for Meteorological Weather Forecasting, the ECMWF as it is called. And this particular one is looking at, again, precipitation, cloud cover, temperature, and pressure, snow potential in purple, and rain potential in the rainbow, more radar colored modes there. Now, as we go into, again, the next day or so, we see a little bit more potential out there. Again, this is wxcharts.com, free website for a lot of great weather forecasting models and maps on here. So we see more potential of rain there. There is a potential of snow coming up as we get into, it looks like Saturday at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon with that leftover front moving through. That's where we see, again, the potential for some snow showers north of us up around Johnson City. So if my daughter's watching, that's what we could be looking at, a potential there as well. Then we get into next week. Here's where it gets interesting. Again, we're going from Tuesday with rain shower chances beginning into Wednesday, and here it comes back from the west. Round about midnight into 6 o'clock Thursday morning. That is where we see what looks to be a pretty potent system bringing the potential of some rain, maybe some heavy rain in some of those bands going on. That is where we could see the possibility. There's no indication of severe weather yet, but at this time of the year, late January, early April, that is where we really want to be paying attention. And this is starting to kind of pique a lot of people's interest to see what comes through. It looks like as this comes through, mainly what's called a linear mode of storms, squall line type activity as this system comes on through and just makes its way through from west to east. Now, anything that forms ahead of this line, that could be a problem. So Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I would say we may have to keep a very close eye on what's going on. Behind that, we should clear out pretty quickly and high pressure sets in, but I would really watch what goes on toward the end of next week, especially late Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the evening, through about 6 o'clock. And let's see, is that okay? I got that wrong. I was 3 Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Wednesday, 12 a.m., 6 a.m. Thursday. So Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the UTC code caught me off guard up there. So that is what we may see, again, in the potential of what could be a severe weather event. But for right now, again, it's way too early to call that, but the characteristics are starting to get there. So that is something that we really need to watch out on next week. So please keep it tuned to News 12 for more information on what we're looking at there. Thanks to everybody for joining us for joining the webinar on citizen science tonight from SciStarter in regards to what's going on with how you can help keep data regarding what is considered cool or cold. And you can find out more about that on my social media pages if you'd like to learn a little bit more. Let's do one more little bit of weather here. And high temperatures today, 11 degrees above normal, within 12 of a record high that hasn't been broken since 2018, a record low that hasn't been broken since 1896. That's been a day or two ago, and no rain in the rain gauge to talk about. Bus stop temperatures into the morning. It's going to be chilly, but not exactly what I would call cold. And then we see more chances of rain coming through by the time we hit the afternoon and evening hours. So the kids may need some rain protection heading on home, and that could be a bit of an issue. But I think it's only going to be in the afternoon where we see the potential of anything involving rainfall coming up. So looking at good news there. Heading out for the great outdoors. Breezy tomorrow, gusts pushing 30 miles an hour, and looking at stray afternoon showers, but very mild on the temperatures, and increasing clouds throughout the rest of the day. That is where we're going to be seeing some problems. Likewise, anything on the golf course, mild, breezy, could be some hooks or slices out there thanks to the wind, and temperatures mild, but there could be more showers coming on through, and that is going to be the main problem that we're seeing for right now. Have to thank a couple of people here. I'm going to put this into motion because it's our first Langley Roofing weather window video of the day. And what you're looking at is from Saudi Daisy, what was being called by Ryan Settles, and who took the video, and Amanda Harris, who sent the video. Kind of looking right in the center of the screen here, there is kind of a rainbow effect taking place. It could be some snow flurries, again, acting as kind of a prismatic effect up that direction. But from what I'm looking at right here, I'm kind of leaning toward the polarization filter, if there is any, on the windshield, matched with the polarization of the lens of the camera, if there's anything on there. You put those polarization filters on there. If they're the right alignment, they can be, you see right through them. You can see this if you have a pair of sunglasses that are polarized against a gas pump window where the prices and the gallons go whizzing on by. If you turn your sunglasses perpendicular to the gas pump window, you might see it get darker or disappear completely, because those polarization filter strips will block out the sunlight and keep the sun from fading out the display. But if you have those polarization filters just a little bit askew, you kind of wind up with a potential of some colorization effect. Again, I'm seeing some that looks like crepuscular rays here, but I'm kind of leaning toward the idea that might be polarization effect going on between the glass covered by the polarization filter on the windshield and on the camera lens. So it's possible, but for right now, without more data, could be either one. I apologize to Mr. Settles and to Ms. Harris, as this submission wound up in our spam folder, so I had to get that out and taken care of. But again, thank you very much for our first weather video picture of the day, weather window video of the day for sponsored by Langley Roofing. I'll get this taken care of at one point in time. You know, it's only Wednesday, but it feels like it has been about a month and a half. This is very much starting to feel like January did, like it's not going to be ending anytime soon, even though it's about 10 days out. If you've got pictures, we prefer pictures, but if you got video, we'll take that too. Pictures at WDEF.com, or you can drop your pictures or video to Facebook, X, or Instagram. And thanks to everybody for sending in some spectacular video or picture work to News 12. We really do appreciate it, so thanks for sending that in, and please keep up the good work out there. We'd love to see more about what you're seeing across much of the area. I want to throw this in real quick. Again, if you've got remembrances of the 1974 super tornado outbreak, one of the worst weather disasters for the country in modern history, ranking up there with the Galveston hurricane, the 2008 Super Tuesday outbreak, the 1927 tri-state tornado. If it's not in the top 10, it's pretty well up there at the very least for the number of tornadoes that were detected on pre-Doppler radar displays, and of course being caught by video and pictures all over the eastern United States. Xenia, Ohio, in particular, getting hit pretty well. If you've got pictures, remembrances, accounts, anything that might help, the National Weather Service in Morristown likes to do story map presentations, and this is where you can come in to help donate or at least contribute. I'm assuming that if you have other pictures they can take pictures of, like physical pictures, you can take a digital copy of that and send it in to us. They're going to do a presentation on the 50th anniversary coming up in April, about 2 months away. And if you have anything like that with what happened, if you went through something, if you know somebody who went through something, contact Jeremy Buckles at the National Weather Service in Morristown. They did a great presentation on the superstorm, the anniversary of the superstorm of 1993. So your opportunity to help out with a very good piece of weather history. If you'd like to go ahead and send that in, they could use your help on that. And one more thing for tonight before we sign off. Last night we went about a half an hour plus. We're up to almost a half an hour now. Apparently we have a lot more weather information to talk about than even I thought about, but throwing all that out there. Hope you're enjoying this. If you're not, if you want it to be cut short into something more your time style, let us know and we'll tell you how in just a second. But National Weather Service Morristown, one of the last Skywarn in-person training sessions will be coming up a month from tonight in Marion County, Tennessee. That is just west of Hamilton County and Chattanooga. And this county in the News 12 viewing area is in the Central Time Zone. So this will be at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, Lawson Building, Jasper, Tennessee. Totally free, but you do need, please register for a seat to let the National Weather Service know just how many people are coming their direction. Just to be a good neighbor. It's not some government conspiracy plot to track you, but this is something that will come in very handy for you to get trained in what to look for severe weather, and then you can call that back to the National Weather Service and tell them what you see. They can tell everybody else what you see, including people like me here at News 12 for severe weather coverage. That is something that, again, will come in very handy, and the more Skywarn spotters we have, the better off we are all going to be. So if you live around Marion County, Tennessee, please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter. Great opportunity here, and you can find out more on my social media pages, which, again, naturally, you can find out a whole bunch more on my social media pages about all sorts of unique and interesting weather information. I think that's going to wrap it up for now. Thanks to everybody on Twitch for tuning in over the last several days. Good to have the new followers on Twitch, and thanks to everybody for watching on Facebook Live for tonight. So we'll go ahead and send it back to regular programming. We'll have more on News 12 at 11. No matter where you are, if you want to watch us live on the internet, go to wdef.com/weather. Glad to have you along for the ride. I'll be on with weather. Rick Nyman has sports. Andrew Harrison has the day's news. And, of course, we'll have Chip Chapman on the show with weather coming up on the Daybreak program Thursday morning at 5 a.m. So whether it's on air or online, please join us on News 12 for all your Tennessee River Valley area information, and we'll be glad to have you along. Want to contact us? Twitch. You can find the email address at the lower right-hand corner of your screen, aonic@wdef.com. And again, follow along with me on all of my social media pages. Live and direct, Peak of the Week Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick from News 12 WDEF in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, and we'll catch you again coming up Thursday evening.